In this video, we're going to identify 5 keys to scaling and building a $1 million Shopify brand. And number 4 will probably surprise you because it's kind of contrary to what most people believe. After building an 8-figure company, I've spoken with hundreds of 6, 7, and 8-figure founders and learned what has gone well for them and what hasn't gone well. So without further ado, let's dive into this video. The first key that we're going to reveal here together is key number 1, which is master your paid ads early. When it comes to paid ads, it's really important in the beginning that you're reinvesting the profits and the revenue that you're generating from the business. This allows you to get more leverage and build faster in a short span of time. And so you can rapidly test and scale what works. You can focus on the platform that is doing the best for you. And I'd recommend that you select one key advertising platform that you can focus on first to help you scale. Because if you dilute your focus, you're going to have less impact, and you're also going to have less data that you can track. For example, if you were doing TikTok, Google, Meta, and Snapchat ads, it's probably not the best approach, especially when a lot of us are bootstrapped when we're trying to grow and scale our businesses, and have got lots of other expenses to worry about. So forget about hiring agencies at this point in your journey. You want to master paid ads and master one channel. You just want to commit to learning and building that skill set in-house, because whether you hire an agency long-term or down the road, or you learn in-house, the skill sets, the knowledge, and the expertise is so important to have internally before you hire externally, because that will give you context to make sure that the agency is actually doing their job right and that you can actually work with them and understand what they're doing. So that is key number 1, master your paid ads early. Key number 2 is start with problem solving and authentic content. Now, contrary to popular belief, most people think that building a brand means you don't need to focus on creating your own in-house content. This is not what I believe and what has not been my experience in building a successful brand. We have over 1.5 million social media followers that have contributed largely to our success in helping us to scale paid ads profitably, where we're running 6, 7, and 8 ROAS campaigns successfully. And so it's really important that in this stage of your journey, and as you're, whether you're at 5K a month, 10K a month, 20, 50K a month, you're focused on creating content that is also authentic to you and who you are, and focusing on solving that core customer pain points or the core customer pain points, and not just posting because you're meant to or you should post. So every piece of content should communicate clear value and immediate benefit. One of the great ways that we've done this is we just simply showed what a customer order looks like being shipped out. So you could set up a simple tripod and a phone next to the shipping department and just have an employee go through and show what someone has ordered. And you can add a simple voiceover just talking through the products and a little bit of the benefits of the products, and then just show it being shipped out. This creates a lot of social proof and is an authentic part of you that if other potential customers see that, they're going to be like, wow, okay, I might be able to trust this brand. Let me give them a shot. That would be an example of some content you could create. A great example of this is also True Classic. They've scaled over $250 million a year, and they focus their efforts on direct response content still. So really getting good at, you can see here a trend with ads and content. If you get really good at those two things, you can use those to your advantage and kind of like really help you build a foundation for your marketing so that you can grow long term. I see too many brands outsource this content and outsource these ads and really struggle to grow because they don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's why it's important to be able to kind of take the bull by the horns and figure that out yourself as well, okay? Gives you a bit more control when you're small. Key number 3, challenge industry norms and assumptions. So important here. If you look at your market and your industry and you think, maybe there's some things that you should change, or maybe there's some things that you want to do differently, but you feel like getting out of that groove that you're in, or in that particular industry, that you should kind of stay in your lane. Well, I encourage you to jump outside of that. We did this with our brand, Gamenetics, and we completely reinvented the way that we positioned ourselves in the market. We're in the gaming accessories market. And so we looked at all of our competitors and saw what were they doing well and what were they doing really bad. We took the things they were doing bad and then took the things they were doing good and restructured the whole entire company to be better than all of our competitors. And so we took some of the things that made us unique, which was our customization feature, right? Where you're able to basically customize the product as much as possible, personalize it, and then also just do a really good job at customer service and making social media content. Because a lot of brands that you're competing with, they're not great at making content and running ads. And so these two things that I mentioned before, this is actually a way that you can challenge the industry norms by saying, we're going to be a brand, we're going to figure out how to be a company that actually creates content. And we're going to create a culture of that where we can film and capture content on our stories, film and capture content in reels, where you don't really have to overthink the video. It's just natural, authentic content. And that is what connects with your viewers. So don't assume anything in your industry. Don't think that your competitors are running ads profitably. Have real data to back it up. You may be looking at some of your competitors thinking, wow, they are running so many ads. Who cares? And to be honest, who knows if they're even profitable? They may just be going through money and not even being able to figure out what ads work. Okay, so don't compare yourself to those other bigger brands that you're trying to compete with. And constantly test and challenge what should work and what's accepted in your industry. Build products and a brand that is truly unique. I say this because it has truly helped our brand to be able to grow to the scale that it has. Is marketing gets easy when you make a great brand and product. Marketing gets easy when you do things different, when you do things Instagram. So if you go back to the foundation and see how can you improve your product and brand that would almost market itself, well, then your marketing becomes a whole lot easier. So challenge industry norms and assumptions. Key number 4, brand over everything always. Now, what I mean by brand is it's a very loaded word, but I want you to position yourself in a way that makes people feel something. Perceived value creates desire for your product. Simply by having this perceived value for your brand, and when they see your brand, everything's cohesive, everything has an energy about it, everything has a vibe. That is really important in creating remembrance for your customers and your potential customers. Never jeopardize your brand and products, and don't cut corners. Do it right and uphold your standards. So I see too many brands where they might establish a really high quality product, but then they release a low quality product that doesn't really fit with the brand standards. And so when you do this, it may not be apparent right then and there, but in the customer's mind, you've actually changed the way they view you because now you're cutting corners. Now you're jeopardizing or going against your standards on what you've been able to hold from when you launched the brand. And vice versa. If you have a low quality product and you don't put a lot of time and effort into your packaging, you're going really cheap, then this is also something you need to consider, because if you can heighten or increase your perceived value as a brand, it's going to help you sell more and also sell for a higher price. Build something memorable. Don't make decisions for what cheap or the cheapest options are. Make decisions in line with what you stand for. Very, very important. Okay? Brand over everything always. Do not break this rule, because it will ruin you long term. You have way more of an impact if you can just stay consistent to this. Key number 5, build an in-house content team. Now, don't be rolling your eyes at me. I know this sounds very overwhelming, but trust me, it is a Swiss Army knife that you can have within your business. If you can create content from your employees and from your team on demand when you need to, this can be huge for you, not only for creating ads, but also just understanding how to make content that resonates with your customers. This is really, really important. So from top down, lead content to nail your brand voice, right? So like when you start making content, it's going to help you figure out what your brand voice is. So if you make it in-house, you kind of, delegate this to your marketing director or someone in-house that does content. It's going to help them define the brand voice and you to be able to kind of see, okay, this is kind of how this is our vibe. This is kind of like how we want to talk to our customers. You can understand the audience that way. And as you grow, you can build a culture of content creation. So at our company, Gamenetics, it's very normal for us to walk around with a phone or a camera and just film and capture like photos of, the controller technicians building the controller or the shipping department. It's very normal to do that. And then we get them involved in making the content too. Now, not everyone wants to, and that's fine. They don't need to. But for those who do, we just created a culture where it's normal to do that. It's not weird to pull out your phone and film something or, take a photo with your camera. Agencies can support you at scale, but your internal teams know your brand best and can execute better. So remember that is internal, always more in touch with the brand and what you guys are actually doing than an agency will be. Keep your creative direction and strategy in-house and outsource for capacity, not creativity. So if you are wanting to grow, only outsource if you are bottlenecked by capacity. You don't try and outsource the creative, because the creative strategy behind it, the creativity, that can be really lost when you outsource that. So these are the 5 key things that we just revealed. Master paid ads early, problem solving authentic content, challenge industry norms, brand over everything else, build an in-house content team. This has been the 5 keys to building and scaling to $1 million brand. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you are looking to test out TxtCart, which has been a huge contributor to our revenue, I would highly recommend going and checking out their 14-day free trial. No credit card required, $1,000 in ad credits, and I'll see you guys in the next video.